distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here in this beautiful, colorful, and vibrant nation of Nigeria. For the first time, it's my first time here. Our distinguished guests, international aid partners, current and potential philanthropists, thank you all for being here today. Your presence indeed gives philanthropy an African face and feel. I'm sure that the presentations and discussions will be stimulating, and I hope that each and every one of you will leave here with a deeper appreciation for homegrown philanthropy, recognizing that you too can transform your giving to make the lives of all Africans much better off. Indeed, the development context is changing fast, as old relationships between the developed world and the developing nations are evolving into partnerships built around trade and business interests. For our African countries, there's a genuine desire to own and be in control of our development. While we may still need and wish to continue to receive support from external partners, there is a yearning for assistance that strengthens capacities and nurtures homegrown solutions to Africa's development issues. In 1624, a well-known poet by the name of, English poet by the name of John Donne gave us a phrase. He said, "No man is an island." And he went further to say that I am involved in mankind. Now this quote frames my brief remarks, which are centered on the Pan-African concept of Ubuntu, its ties to philanthropy, and why organized giving is important. Now, similar to the idea in John Donne's poem, and much closer to home, is the Pan-African concept of interconnectedness between all people. Now, the Nguni language in South Africa calls it Ubuntu. In Eastern Africa, we call it Ubuntu. Now, Ubuntu speaks to a unity that ties us to one another as members of the human race. Yes, it is a Pan-African concept, but it goes much further than that. It is a value that is found in just about every civilization on earth, present and past. Now, in a world where increasingly differences between people, between religions, and between socioeconomic status are often highlighted, the voice of the common thread of shared similarities that bind us together seems to be growing faint. So today, part of why we are here is to make sure that it doesn't happen. Now, if we band together, our collective voice that highlights our similarities will never grow faint. So Ubuntu is about you, it's about me, and it's about us. It's about community, it's about connection, and it's all about caring. So it's community, it's connection, caring. Now, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, in his memoir, No Future Without Forgiveness, describes Ubuntu as a philosophy that says, my humanity is inextricably bound up in yours. That a person is a person through other persons. When we look at philanthropy, we are told the origins of the word lie in the Greek language, and that it means love of man. Philanthropy is said to encompass a love of humanity, in addition to harboring a sense of caring and a deep desire to enhance or improve the human condition. It sounds very similar to Ubuntu, doesn't it? It emphasizes community, connection, and caring. Philanthropy is often confused with charity, since both acts entail giving. However, the main distinguishing factor I'd like to point out between the two is that charity tends to occur on a more short-term basis, whereas philanthropy, on the other hand, is more long-term. It is more organized, or in other words, more strategic. The main idea behind philanthropy is to promote the welfare of others. It is not just a quick fix to a pressing need. It goes much deeper than that. Its aim is to positively impact society. None of you in this room today is a stranger to giving. Whether it's a contribution to a church, tuition to students, treatment and care to patients, or simply supplementing an income. We are called upon several times to give to various causes. This type of giving is not a new concept to Africans. Our communities are in fact built on the foundation of reciprocity. Now, for a number of reasons, some of them more obvious than others, philanthropy is a concept that has been associated with the Western part of the world. However, African philanthropic activity has been slowly building momentum and is already well positioned to be a significant factor in the growth and development of many African nations. Now, the African 2016 Wealth Report indicates that there are 165,000 high net worth individuals living in Africa, with combined wealth holdings of $860 billion US and personal fortunes in excess of $1 million. Now, this is a proverbial gold mine, not only in terms of the money, but especially in terms of great positive impact a fraction of such a sum can have on African societies. This is where the importance of organized giving comes in. Now, as opposed to having one-off, short-term, unconnected giving, philanthropic endeavors through foundations, trusts, corporate social responsibility initiatives, and endowments, among others, create a long-lasting impact, not just on an individual, but on societies as a whole. Now, while it is not yet gained mainstream status, African philanthropy has clearly emerged as an unmistakable contributor in addressing the various challenges faced across the continent. In several instances, where a cash-strapped national government finds itself unable to address a particular challenge, local philanthropists can step in and fill the gap, thus becoming development partners. When you understand the hidden potential that lies with the growing number of African high net worth individuals, coupled with their desire to make a positive and lasting impact on their communities, you start to see why organized giving becomes a crucial issue. To put it in numbers, over the last 16 years, the number of high net worth individuals on the continent has grown by 145%. Now, the great advantage to our societies is that a significant number of these high net worth individuals keep their wealth within their African country of residence. Now, what are the benefits of organized giving. There are several benefits to organized giving. The first benefit to organized giving goes back to the interconnectedness that the Ubuntu philosophy espouses, the notion of community caring and connection. In a world where formalized giving structures are in place, structures governed by legal rules and an ethical code of conduct, tangible links are created between givers and beneficiaries. This link is what actually serves to keep us human, to have us looking out for the disadvantaged members of our societies, to have us constantly reminded that a person is a person through other persons. This link between the giver and the receiver also allows a dialogue to take place between the two entities. Hence, our wealth is put to good use, and in turn, the members of the community have actual needs. They have their actual needs met. Now, the second and perhaps most obvious benefit of organized giving is that it moves society from the quick fix scenarios that many of us are familiar with. I'm sure a number of you can relate to being called upon to contribute to a particular cause, and you willingly do so. However, the following year, you realize that the mechanism that existed that previous year to support the particular cause may have disbanded without bringing much needed results or impact. Now, organized giving, either through foundation, a trust, or an endowment, gives the solution far more longevity than the quick fix you have participated in. Another advantage to organized giving is that structures like foundations, endowments, and trusts, among others, offer a sense of perpetuity to the philanthropic endeavor, that a person's impact on their communities continue to be felt long after their departure from Earth. The fourth and last benefit to organized giving I would like to share with you is that it amplifies the impact because there is strength in numbers. Formal structures like foundations and trusts, for example, also allow everyone, regardless of their income, to participate in making a lasting impact. Now, the focus here is not on the amount given, because for sure, some will give substantial amounts while others may not. The focus instead is on consistent giving. But without formal avenues of consistent giving, the entire society loses out unknowingly. So in looking at Africa's philanthropic landscape, we hear about very generous givers. So we know that our society in no way is short of generous hearts. But what we don't hear about that often are foundations or trusts. There are very few. Now, within this room is a wealth of expertise and network links that would be harnessed into something far bigger than you or I could imagine. So my hope is that this convening will result in the creation of links, networks, and dialogues that the African Philanthropy Forum is ready to support on a regional basis, and the Global Philanthropy Forum on a much larger scale, so that we can actively and sustainably bring about the change we all want to see. I thank you very much for listening, and may God bless you.